One of the most frustrating things, I think, when it comes to your child's sleep is when you know that they're tired, but you can't help them fall asleep. They just seem to really be fighting it. So in today's mini masterclass, I'm going to be sharing some tips on ways that we can avoid this, and then when it does actually happen, ways that you can actually help your child to sleep. My name's Rebecca Mickey, and I am a children's sleep consultant and author, and I work with families who have children under 6 years old, obviously with a huge range of ages and issues. I am a gentle children's sleep consultant, so I'm not going to be advising you to leave your child to cry it out. In today's mini masterclass, we are looking at what to do when you know that your child is tired, but for whatever reason, they just won't fall asleep. Ways that we can avoid this happening, but then if it happens, ways that we can get you helping your child to sleep as quick as possible. Why does this happen? Well, a lot of it will depend on your child, their age, and their sleep personality. If you're not sure of your child's sleep personality, you can take my quiz. You can find the link to that here in the notes. You can take my sleep personality quiz, and that will help you understand a little bit more about your child and ways that you can help them sleep. It will depend on your child's sleep personality as to whether they're going to be fighting sleep when you know that they're tired. Laid back, easygoing children have a little bit of an easier time with this, and they don't do this quite as much as shy children, but the ones who really struggle with this are children who have that intense sleep personality. Those are the children who do struggle a little bit more with this. There are some reasons why this happens. Now, you'd think that the more tired you are, the easier time you'd have falling asleep, but it actually is the exact opposite for children. The more tired they are, the more overtired they are, the more they are going to struggle to fall asleep and remain asleep. But more importantly, we see this with falling asleep. So we want to try and avoid extreme overtiredness, making sure that your child is napping well during the day and they're not going too long between those naps. And that will totally depend on your child's age as to when they need to be going down for those naps. But you want to try and avoid that overtiredness because your child's brain will struggle to relax and unwind when they are really overtired. Some adults do exactly the same, really struggle to relax and unwind when they're dealing with that extreme overtiredness, and that can make falling asleep really tricky to do. Now, the opposite of this is if you're trying to get your child down to sleep and they're just not tired enough, and it can actually look the exact same. A child who is overtired or a child who is undertired will fight falling asleep. So you want to be looking and seeing, is your child undertired? Are they overtired? And that's just generally looking at how long they've been awake for. And say it totally depends on their age as to how long that maximum time that you'll want them to be awake for is. So looking at overtiredness or undertiredness. Another thing we want to look at is overstimulation. This is going to make it incredibly hard for your child to fall asleep if their brain is overstimulated. What does that actually look like? So think of level of stimulation. Think about that as going up the stairs. The more that your child is interacting and they're playing and they're learning, the more that their brain is getting overly stimulated. And that's okay. We want them to be stimulated. We want their brain to be stimulated. This is how they're learning. And then maybe during your nap time routine, they'll come down a couple of steps, have a nap, down a couple more steps, and then they're up and playing again, and they're going back up those stairs as they are learning and they are busy playing. And then your nap time routine, you may bring them down a little bit more, nap, bring them down a little bit more, and then they're busy learning again. Now, at the end of the day, it can be that your child is right up here with that level of stimulation. And that's going to make it harder for them to relax and unwind and to be able to fall asleep. Now, some children can handle this more than others, can have an easier time with this than others. And again, it is very sleep personality dependent. Laid back, easygoing children can handle a little bit more of that overstimulation. Intense spirited children can struggle a little more with this. Now, we don't want to avoid this stimulation. This is how your child is learning, and this is not anything that we should even consider avoiding. But we may want to work on relaxing your child before they go down to sleep And even during that awake playtime, just relaxing their brain a little bit more. That means then when we are going to be helping them to sleep, either for their nap or at nighttime, that level of stimulation is a little bit lower and it will be easier for them to fall asleep. Now, the best way that you can do this is to have a walking wind down before you attempt to get your child down to sleep. So this can be before a nap, or even before nighttime. The way that this works is you're just going to scoop your child up from whatever it was that they were doing, and you're going to walk around unwinding their brain. You're going to be looking out the windows, looking at pictures of the wall, and it's a slow, rhythmic walk. You can spend anything up to 10 minutes. Don't need to, maybe even just a minute or two is going to be helpful for your child. Just slowly walking around, and then you will end your walking wind down where you are going to begin your nap time or nighttime routine. Go through the motions then of your routine, which nap time routine should be about 10 or 15 minutes long. Your nighttime routine should be between 30 and 45 minutes long. So you are adding a little bit of extra time onto your routine. But if it means that your child falls asleep so much easier and they don't fight it quite so much, it is most certainly worth doing this walking wind down. You can also do this walking wind down. It's just part of your daytime. If you feel that your child's brain is getting a little bit overstimulated, just scoop them up, have a couple of minutes walking around. They can go back and play with the exact same thing. But it just means then before you're going to be getting them down to sleep, the brain is just a little less stimulated, and it will be easier for them to fall asleep and they won't fight it quite so much. Children who have that intense sleep personality, I will always advise families to use a walking wind down before all of their naps. If your child gets really overly stimulated before nighttime as well, and then sometimes even just during your awake time, can be really helpful. But this can also be helpful for children who are more laid back and easygoing or have that shy sleep personality, to be able to just unwind just that little more. And it's quite a nice thing to do as part of your awake time and as a cue for getting ready for sleep, as you're going to be getting ready to start your nap or nighttime routine. So what happens if you're just not being able to avoid this at all? And of course, there are going to be some times that it is totally unavoidable and you're trying to help your child down to sleep and it is just not happening. They're just either fighting it, they're getting really mad and upset at you, or it just seems to be taking a really, really long time. They may be kind of getting to that closing their eyes and they're kind of dozing and then they'll wake up. If you feel that this is going on for a little bit too long. Now, there is no perfect time which is too long. Depends on you, depends on your child. But normally, if this is happening for about 20 minutes and your child just does not seem to be getting ready to relax, to fall asleep, the best thing to do is to stop the attempt at getting them down to sleep. Even if it is your nap time, even if it is bedtime, just stop. Because once your child gets to this fighting sleep, they kind of forget why they're fighting it. They're just fighting it. And then they go beyond the perfect time. And it can take an incredibly long time, over an hour, even for them then to fall asleep if they've just got to this fighting stage. Once they then get exhausted, then they'll fall asleep. So if you feel that after 15, 20 minutes that your child is not going to be falling asleep fairly soon, if you feel that they are going to be falling asleep, keep going, because they probably will. But if you feel that they are not going to be falling asleep anytime soon, the best thing to do is stop the sleep attempt. So let's just take a breather. You can just turn a lamp on. I try and remain in the room just because we've already done our sleep routine. Your child knows that sleep's coming. But just taking a break, we want to just hang out in the room. We can do some sleepy things. So we can put some music back on. You can read some books. You can let your child play for a little while. Calm, relaxing play. And then when you feel that your child is ready, try again with that attempt to get them down to sleep. Now, how would you know when your child is ready? They're already tired. Might be 10 minutes, it may be a little bit longer, but just giving everybody that little bit of a break, and then do the last step or two of your nighttime or nap time routine and then try again. You're probably going to be more effective getting them down to sleep, and they will probably fall asleep much quicker with this little time out than if you just stuck with it and kept going and kept going and kept going for goodness knows how long. Trying for that 20 minutes, stopping for 10 minutes, and then trying again. Your child may be asleep within 10 minutes of that second attempt, rather than going on for that over an hour if you just stuck with it. So it is definitely worth having a little time out. It's good for you as well, giving you a bit of a breather, because there is nothing more frustrating than when your child is fighting sleep, especially at the end of the day. We just need you to fall asleep. And it can be really, really frustrating if your child really struggles. So this gives you a breather. It gives them a breather. We're keeping things within the realm of sleepy, and then you are going to try again. Good luck as you try to help your child avoid this overstimulation, and you can have an easier time helping them to sleep.